the next one, we'll talk about the corporate culture for economic inclusion. But before we get started, I want to know how many of you are here who are entrepreneurs in the room today. If you are there, say yes and tell us about your company. So take a moment. And I would like to introduce Gina Fratercangeli. She is the Managing Director and Market Unit Sales Leader at Accenture. And we are so proud that Accenture is a Women in Cloud sponsor. And here's to Gina, who made that happen. Gina was also named a top 10 Women in Cloud this fall. And she and I personally go back years ago to the Cherry Creek, where Gina gave the TED Talk on Stop Climbing and Start Lifting, which has already reached over 32,000 views at last count. Gina was also featured last year and also last night on this stage. So now, Gina, I would love you to share thoughts on how the cloud will impact us today, tomorrow, and beyond. Take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Chaitra. Thank you. It's just a real honor and pleasure for me to be here today and share some thoughts and ideas that have been on my mind lately about cloud and the impact that cloud is having on all of us. I think Colleen made some great points about what's happening in the market, and we're all very aware of that. And I've had a lot of time, it turns out to be a lot of time on my hands to be thinking about things. To share a quick story with you, back in November, my family and I decided to come down to Costa Rica and get a little quick escape. We thought of it as turning lemons into lemonade, and COVID was rough on the family and no school, and Costa Rica's paradise. So everything started out great. The kids were learning some valuable life lessons and learning to speak Spanish. I had this plan to get up every morning at 6 a.m. and go out and surf before work. Plan started out great. And then one day I fell and broke my foot. Emergency surgery, 6 screws and a plate later, and there goes my professional surfing career. But in the spirit of turning more lemons into more lemonade, I was determined to find something positive from the event. And here it is. It gave me time to slow down and reflect. Time to think about what's going on in the world around us and how I can be a better influence to that. So stop all the crazy running around for a little bit. And such a gift to have that chance to just sit and think about things. So very excited about how that happened. So a lemon to lemonade story for sure, and gave me some time to really think about Women in Cloud and why I'm so supportive of this organization and what this organization means to me. And it made me excited about trying to get Accenture more involved in the organization. So I worked hard to share the mission and the value proposition of Women in Cloud to our leadership to inspire their support. I pointed out how Women in Cloud works globally to lift up and support women in the cloud space. I emphasized how their mission to advocate for gender equality in tech aligns with Accenture's own corporate goals. And I made a personal pitch that recruiting, educating, and advancing more women in tech are top priorities for me personally, and that I had recently been named one of the top 10 most influential women in cloud, and wanted to use that platform to further elevate Accenture's brand as a place for women in cloud to work. As our CMO said when I pitched the idea to her, she said, "It's a no-brainer, let's do this." Thus, Accenture became a corporate sponsor for Women in Cloud to help support Women in Cloud's vision and to bring more women into the industry with the infrastructure, connections, and support they need to be successful here. I've always thought a lot about cloud and how more women could participate to grow and learn in the cloud space. And today I want to share with you a few of my learnings, experiences, and ideas to hopefully inspire you in this industry, and how I'm thinking about cloud's impact on us today, tomorrow, and beyond. As many of you know, cloud has taken on a new urgency since COVID hit. As Colleen said, practically overnight, right? Companies had to pivot and move to the cloud faster than they ever thought. Their long-term strategy for this transformation was dramatically impacted. Companies saw firsthand that cloud-first businesses like Accenture were able to quickly adapt to things like 100% remote workforce on a dime, using cloud tools and assets to continue our business and keep our employees safe with next to no disruption to our client services. It was truly awesome to watch happen. And conversely, some companies without a clear vision for cloud have struggled and tend to lag behind in respective industries. So when I think about cloud and how we're thinking about cloud, we see it as kind of three distinct phases. Phase one is you move all your old systems and data out of the local data center, put it in the cloud, save a bunch of money. This is a purely reactive, defensive strategy almost, but necessary for today's corporate survival. This urgency to get into cloud, spawned by COVID, has greatly accelerated the overall cloud transformation we're seeing in the marketplace. Pre-COVID, most companies had only about 20% of their workloads in the cloud. The expectation was that they'd eventually get 80% there, and we thought probably over 10 years. As you may have heard, our CEO, Julie Sweet, has made the point that now, since COVID, we're expecting companies to have 80% of their workloads in the cloud within the next 3 to 5 years. This level of acceleration is exceptional, and it's requiring leaders to think differently, to act with urgency, and to lead from the top. No longer is it the situation where the CIO and tech people will take care of it. It's a CEO issue now, a corporate imperative issue, and we get to be right there with the CEOs helping them figure it out. This leads to phase two, the tomorrow, when companies look at operationalizing their development work in the cloud to get better and faster output. So here's where companies start to look for what they think they can do now that they're in the cloud, and how they can create more value within their business. Our research is showing, however, that many companies aren't seeing the full value they expected from the cloud. They face unforeseen obstacles like a lack of cloud skills, business complexity, and misalignment between IT and business. These challenges are slowing down the cloud journey. Accenture is helping them overcome those obstacles, by the way. This is where having a partner and being the partner who can help companies understand the integration of tech and business and the impact of tech on business is so important. And then phase three, the beyond. This is when you start thinking about reinventing your business, because everything is in the cloud and everything is now integrated and data is so much more accessible. You have totally new ways of accessing data, thinking about the potential of your organization and what new products and services may now be able to be created because of this new operating model. This is the phase that requires vision, creativity, and a willingness to let go of old ideas. It's a journey from what we need to do today to what we can do tomorrow, and then what we envision in the future, those totally new possibilities. It's an exciting journey for companies to be on if they have the right mindset. So now let's think about translating the same phases of the cloud journey into strategies for us as individuals. As you think about what you can do as a leader, ways you can be most impactful, I encourage you to think in the following terms. Think about what you need to accomplish today, where you can be tomorrow, and what impact and envision you inspire to have out in the future. So let me repeat that. Think about what you need to accomplish today, where you can be tomorrow, and what impact you envision and aspire to have out in the future. So here's what I've learned along my journey. I want to share 3 key learnings and suggestions that seem most fitting for the Women in Cloud event, and as we think about our impact today, tomorrow, and beyond. Number 1, turn the idea of the mentor and mentee concept on its head. We all hear about it when we start our careers. Get out there, find mentors, build a social network of support. Traditionally, this means finding a network of more senior folks. However, what I've learned in this constantly changing world is that it's equally important to build a network of junior folks who will help you recognize what's coming down the pipe before you could ever see it. So what would this look like in practice? Those of you who are listening, 30-year-old and under, reach out and be a mentor to more senior leaders. And senior leaders, do the inverse. Open yourself up to being a mentee of someone younger. I know it may be uncomfortable, but it's super important to building your success today and creating new synergies for tomorrow. Older leaders need younger people to mentor them on what's new. I'll give you an example. Early in my career, this thing called the internet was just heating up, and I had a job selling advertising for an internet startup. And one day I was presenting to the board of a very large bank, very successful, very smart, older people. And before I got far into the presentation, one of the gentlemen raised his hand and said, the internet, can you please explain exactly what that is? And I took a deep breath and paused and thought, wow, these guys are old. How can they not know what the internet is? But this is going to keep reoccurring throughout our lives as things happen. And I didn't realize at the time, but there was an opportunity for me to mentor that man and help him learn about exciting new technologies that would help his bank be more successful. I missed the opportunity to help him become a leader in the space rather than a follower. I had the opportunity to share with him what I saw as the powerful future of the internet. I was young and missed this chance for what could have been a really mutual beneficial relationship. I encourage you to look for those opportunities and don't let them pass you by. Feel empowered to have a seat at the table with more senior leaders. Expertise comes in many different forms. Be confident that you have something to contribute at every point in your life and your career and conversation. Number 2, if you're looking toward where you can be tomorrow, then always be looking for what's emerging. I literally have a sticky note on my desk that says, always be looking for what's emerging, to keep it fresh and on my mind. And when I see something that is complex, transformative, and it takes me reading multiple articles to truly understand the impact it can have, like AI or blockchain, I know I'm on the right track and it's something I should be paying attention to. 1 out of every 100 technologies I hear of and think about gets me excited and makes me think differently about my plans and where my career may take me. This all started when I first got out of college. I had a job with a big advertising agency with a great training program as a media buyer in a fantastic city. It had lots of career potential, and I was super excited to get up being a grown-up. Then one day, an internet startup came in and presented at the agency. And I realized at that moment that this is what was emerging, and then that was where the market was going, and I wanted to be part of this new technology. I quit my safe job and went to work for this startup. By the age of 25, I was a VP of sales and evangelizing the internet to old guys around the world. It was fun and exciting. My point is this: seek what's emerging, decide what you're passionate about, and be willing to take a leap to pursue it. My advice is begin to recognize the trends and ask yourself probing questions when you see new technologies, like, what's the impact of this technology? How will it help people or companies today? How will it impact the way we work tomorrow? And how could it help them totally transform their businesses for the future? So what do I do to make this all a reality in my life? I read a lot. I read tech-oriented articles, but equally as important, I read business articles. I see which technologies the Wall Street Journal and Forbes are getting excited about. Because if they're getting excited, that means most executives who view them as a trusted source will probably start digging into the details to learn more, or probably have their people do that, but you get what I mean. Next, I talk a lot. I have trusted groups of advisors, subject matter experts from many different fields and industries who I respect and who are always looking for what's next. In my network, we discuss new technologies and the impacts my advisors think those technologies are going to have on their businesses. I encourage you to build a large, highly diverse network to get the broadest range of ideas and perspectives. Number 3, another important thing I've learned is to envision further out into the future. To do that, you have to be willing to let go of old beliefs. Let me tell you a quick story about that. One of our friends runs a real estate company in Michigan, multi-generational brand mega deal real estate company. When the internet first came around, we said, wow, this looks amazing. You could do so much with it and get online and do so many different things from a real estate perspective. His response was, no, the internet's just a fad. It's not going to change my business model. Real estate is a people business. And can you imagine if at that point he was able to shift his paradigm and think about, creating the realtor.com of what we know today? It would have been life-changing. So if he had the business vision to think differently, it could have been a huge impact. So this is why it's important to let go of the old belief system. They hold you back. They keep you in the today when you want to be gearing up for the tomorrow and beyond. So if you're going to be successful, not just today and tomorrow, but out into the future, if you're going to be open and receptive to what's emerging, you have to be willing to let go of what's now. Accept that nothing is permanent, change is constant, and that which you think is the best is always changing for each person, and you have to be constantly assessing that. You need to be willing to challenge your own thoughts and not be married to your ideas, and to share ideas with other people, to get them to react so you can constantly improve them. I think of it as the blockchain of life. By the way, blockchain is another passion of mine. How blockchain works is that it gets better because new data is constantly coming in from many different data sources to create this impenetrable, unrepeatable data chain. It's the same idea with the blockchain of life. On a human level, it's the idea that allowing more ideas and information sources to flow into your thinking. That's how we keep all getting smarter, how the universe keeps getting better as each person learns from others and constantly grows and changes. And this is where the diversity of ideas becomes extremely valuable. That means opening up to take new sources of data and thinking critically all the time. One thing I do is follow people who don't necessarily think like I do to get varied perspectives, to feed into that human blockchain I was describing. That's how you visualize what the future can look like. So this is what I've been thinking about, sitting in paradise with my foot in a big boot, unable to surf. I'll leave you with these closing thoughts. With everything you do today, in the same way we should be thinking about cloud's impact today, tomorrow, and the future, be thinking about how your actions and decisions contribute to what you need today, where you can be tomorrow, and what you envision for the longer journey into the future. And recognize your role in the bigger ecosystem, whether that's mentoring more senior sales leader, the older mentee, or the senior expert mentoring a young professional. We all have a role to play helping each other advance and grow. And watch constantly for what's emerging. Be conscious, be alert, be a critical thinker, ask the tough questions. Be humble and open to new ideas and the answer yesterday is definitely not the solution for the tomorrow. And the world is moving fast. These are 3 strategies that I believe will help you successfully shape your journey wherever you see that journey heading, and enable you and others to help you along that journey. So we all have a role to play to be personally growing, but also supporting our community into their quest. So my challenge to you is this: go be this change. Get out there after these sessions, join the breakout groups, and ask the different participants in the breakouts, how can I help you along this journey? Can you do it? Can you put yourself out there? I know you can. And I hope you will all be delighted with the outcome. So enjoy your time at the event and please make the most of it for yourself and the others. Thank you.